Appointment 916-520-9990.
The NFC champion San Francisco 49ers will get their chance at revenge when they face the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 58.
Jimmy going to throw a deep shot into double coverage. It's intercepted by Fuller, and that will be it. The Kansas City Chiefs will win their first Super Bowl.
Reed versus Shanahan. Purdy versus Mahomes. The Chiefs versus the 49ers. It's Super Bowl 58, Sunday, February 11th.
And it's on your home for the National Football League, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right, backwards pass led by Juszczyk, a block there. Hurdles a man, 10-5, touchdown!
One, Stiles and Watkins, we are back.
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports road trip to Vegas to cover the big game is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, your place to take your car before your next road trip.
From the Power Business Tech.
Out of the goal line, he does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right, backwards pass led by Juszczyk, a block there. Hurdles a man, 10-5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of
One, Stiles and Watkins, we are back 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and we are joined by NFL Hall of Fame QB Warren Moon. And that's all thanks to Jiffy Lube. Sactown Sports road trip to Radio Row in Las Vegas is brought to you by our friends at Jiffy Lube. When it's time for a road trip, visit Jiffy Lube for all your automotive maintenance needs. Jiffy Lube is your road trip headquarters. Warren Moon, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. I go back with your producer here a long way. Me and Jay, people probably think we're dating. We've been together so long.
I love you, Warren. I love you. You know that? Well, that's
I love
right.
you too, but not like that.
Right. Exactly. And Warren, we were talking a little bit before we got on here about what you're here representing the NFL alumni community programs, the Better Business Bureau, Heart of Texas Foundation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this program is being launched today, and it's being launched in San Antonio, Austin, and also Fort Worth. That's where we're going to start the program, but it's going to be a nationwide program, especially in the 32 markets of the National Football League. But basically, it's NFL alumni that have learned all the different lessons from sports and what made them successful. But everybody in communities can't be an athlete. So,
right.
But you can be involved in business and things like that. So those same lessons that we learned, we're going to try and translate those lessons into young business leaders to teach them what it takes to be successful in business. So that's basically what that program is all about.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, I know it's just a huge part of any athlete's post-career is to kind of get into that kind of stuff. And you see, Magic Johnson doing big things in the business world. Do you have any inspirations in terms of, where you kind of picked up the charitable, I mean, of course, always being charitable, but, where you really found where you wanted to, what lanes you wanted to fill in your post-career?
I think a lot of mine started just from my mom, the way she was giving in our community.
Yeah.
We didn't have a whole lot, but whatever she had, she offered to different people in the neighborhood. The fact that I was able to be successful and give back because there was a lot of programs that gave to me when I was a young kid growing up, whether it was a vacation Bible school at my church, whether it was a boys club or Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, all the different sports I was involved in. All those things kept me on the straight and narrow and kept me away from the gangs and all the different other stuff that was in the neighborhoods where I grew up. So now I'm at a point, or have been at a point where I could give back to some of those same kids who come out of those same environments maybe I can change some lives the way, people changed my life and kept me going in the right directions. That's kind of basically why I do it. And as an NFL quarterback, you have an ability to motivate people and make change in people's lives. You either choose to not do anything about it or you choose to do about it. And I just chose to do about it.
Talking to Warren Moon, NFL Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, Warren, you had a bit of an unconventional track to the NFL, the CFL, and 5 straight titles in the CFL. Do you see any, I guess, similarities in your story and maybe Brock Purdy and just the idea of people maybe doubting him based on where he was drafted or not necessarily being the guy that we all watch at the combine, or we didn't watch him play in the college football playoffs, something like that? Does it feel like he's had to climb a larger mountain than some of these other guys?
Well, I think our journey, everybody has their own journey. His journey was totally different than mine because, first of all, he was drafted.
Right.
And he was drafted in the 7th round. I had 12 rounds in our draft, and I wasn't drafted in any of those.
Man.
And a lot of it didn't have anything to do with me playing quarterback.
Right.
So there's differences there, but I understand what you're talking about. Brock is having to live down the fact that he was Mr. Irrelevant, and people think that because he wasn't drafted high, he shouldn't be as good, and because he's being successful is because of all the people that are around him. Well, Tom Brady was a 6th round draft pick. He played pretty well too.
Yeah.
And when you win 7 Super Bowls as a 6th round draft pick, what are they saying about him? Does Brock Purdy have to win 6 Super Bowls now to all of a sudden be good enough to play in the league? I mean, the kid went to the NFC Championship game last year. He got hurt. Who knows? He could have been in the Super Bowl last year, and now he's got his team in the Super Bowl in his 2nd year. He's got a lot of growth ahead of him. But everybody keeps wanting to label him as a guy that's just on a very talented team. Show me a team that's not good, that's talented. I mean, this good, that's not talented.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask you is I mean, a lot of Brock's criticism is the fact that he has tons of talent around him, and yet there's been San Francisco 49ers quarterbacks who have had tons of talent around them and found success.
Oh, my God.
What do you feel about just that conversation and just your 2 cents on all that?
It's just too bad that he's been labeled that way. By a lot of the media has labeled him that, and he's having to live with that and having to answer those questions every week. All he does is keep advancing through the playoffs. He won 2 of those playoff games for them with his legs and his arm. He had to bring them from behind, first of all, because their defense hasn't played that great throughout the playoffs. And, last week he has the big runs, the big scrambles, the big throws. I mean, what more does the kid have to do to show everybody that he can play quarterback and he's really good? Now, is he elite? I don't know that yet. He hasn't been in the league long enough.
Right.
But what makes an elite quarterback to me is guys who they take what the game plan is and they can run that game plan to perfection. But what happens when a play breaks down? What happens when a linebacker comes through unblocked? What happens when a defensive end comes off the edge and beats his guy? Can you make those extended plays? Can you make those special plays where you have to use your legs to get outside the pocket and buy time and make a throw, or you have to make a scramble? He's shown that he can do that too. And that's what starts to make elite guys elite. When the Lamar Jacksons, when the Patrick Mahomes, when the Josh Allens are making those types of plays, that's what make them special players. So I don't know. I feel bad for the kid because here he is in the Super Bowl and still having to answer questions if he's good enough or not.
Yeah. And trust me, that term game manager has been used probably about 100,000 times just today.
Every quarterback is a game manager.
Yep. Every good one, at least, right?
Mark my lips from that. Every quarterback is a game manager. That's what you're asked to do as a quarterback, is to manage the game plan, to do the things, to audible when you need to audible, to get your team in the right protection, to know where your blitz reads are. All those things come within your game plan, right? But again, when something in one of those plays breaks down, what can you do to make a negative play into a positive play? And that's what the elite guys were able to do. But every quarterback is asked to manage the game no matter what offense he's in.
Talking to Warren Moon, NFL Hall of Fame quarterback. And Warren, you alluded to some reasons why you were not drafted, even when there were 12 rounds. And I've been thinking about this, so hang with me here. When you hear the term now, dual threat quarterback, I've thought about this the last play against the Packers, right? And Love maybe had an opportunity to run. Do you think that there are any situations where maybe black quarterbacks decide not to use their legs because they want to stay away from the stigma of being that running quarterback, even when it's the right decision. Because sometimes I'm watching, I'm thinking, you got it right there, but they want to show that they can see the field and they're not just, using the escape valve to run immediately. Maybe it's just me watching, but sometimes I look and thinking, I wonder, am I making this up, or do they not want to be known as a quote unquote dual threat or running quarterback?
I'm sure that's something they think about when they have a chance to think, but I think in the heat of a battle, I don't know if you're thinking that when you make a throw like he made in that game. And I think that was the only mistake he made in that game. It really surprised me that he made that throw. Not the fact that he didn't run it, but there was another guy right in front of him that he probably could have threw a shorter pass to. But other than that, that's about the only big mistake he made in that football game, but it happened to be the biggest. I remember Donovan McNabb when he was playing. At one point, he was criticized by the NAACP that he wasn't scrambling enough and that he was staying in the pocket on purpose and wasn't using his legs. Yeah, if you ever talk to Donovan,
that's how I'm walking around.
I was once called an Uncle Tom by a African-American reporter because I didn't break the single game record when I had a chance to break it when I was with the Houston Oilers. So you just never can satisfy everybody. Right. I decided to come out of the game because we were winning and there was no reason for me to stand there and just keep throwing the ball. I only needed like 30 something more yards, but I wasn't going to stay in and just keep throwing it. So I was called that by this guy. Man, you just can't satisfy everyone about everything that you're doing. But hopefully that guys are able to use the right judgment when they make a play, whether with their legs or with their arm, being able to have the ability to do that. A lot of guys don't have that ability. So the question is, when do you make the move to use your legs? When do you use your arm? And if you have that ability to do that, and that's what I think Patrick does a great job of. He knows when to run. He knows when to throw the football, even though he's on the move.
Warren, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, so I've seen some of your later career stuff, but when you talk about Patrick Mahomes, what's one thing from Patrick Mahomes' game that you just watch and you're like, I cannot believe that a guy can do this?
His fearlessness. He's just he doesn't seem he fears anything, He really doesn't. And I love that about his game. He'll take on anybody. He'll take a hit and throw the football. Like he took a big hit in the playoff game. Who was that against? The one where he scrambled all around. I think it was, I want to say it was against Baltimore. And he ended up throwing like a wounded duck pass. And Kelsey reached out and dove. And he took a tremendous shot on that play, but he held the ball as long as he possibly could until he finally got rid of it. And those are those fearless type plays that I really have a lot of respect for him for.
Warren, we're sitting here and making sure we do our research on everyone, talking to Warren Moon, NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, and I'm double checking this thing. I know the Wi-Fi's been a little slow, but you played till you were 44. That's incredible.
I know.
That's incredible.
And I can still sit here and talk about it. I can walk away from here without limping.
Yeah.
The good Lord has been really, really good to me. He blessed me with taking care of my health while I played. I had injuries, but nothing that was really major, no like ACLs or separated shoulders or anything like that. And then I took really good care of myself. I think I had a lot to do with it as well. And then I was smart about when I did run and when I did throw.
Yeah.
I learned very quickly when I came in the NFL after I got hit by a strong safety named Donnie Shell, who's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm like, I'm staying in the pocket from now on. I'm just going to dump the ball off to the rest of my guys.
Right. All right, Warren, before we get you out of here, we need your pick. Do the Niners get number 6, or does Patrick Mahomes cement the Chiefs as a dynasty?
Well, I played my last 2 years in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And so I've got kind of a little bit of Chiefs blood still in my veins. And I met Patrick when he was a rookie coming in the league because we were represented by the same guy, Lee Steinberg. So I know him. So I'm going with the Chiefs. And I think if the game is close, which I think it's going to be, he'll find a way to either make the play to win the game, or if he has the ball with 3 or 4 minutes left, he'll find a way to run the clock out.
Yeah. There you go, Warren Moon. Thank you so much, NFL Hall of Fame QB, and thank you for everything you're doing with the NFL alumni, community programs, Better Business Bureau, Heart of Texas Foundation. Thank you so much, Warren. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it. All right, enjoy your week.
Same to you.
Got to be careful.
Yes, we will.
That's the important part.
We will. Got to get to a break. When we get back, more Stiles and Watkins from Vegas. Thanks to Jiffy Lube, Sactown Sports.
As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Oil changes, tire rotations, your overall car maintenance, think Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube is the place to take your car for your next road trip. Jiffy Lube, proud sponsor of Stiles and Watkins Radio Row road trip to Las Vegas. Joined by Jake Martin, Indianapolis Colts linebacker. And Jake, I'm going to start now because, come on. Okay, so Jay, all right, he's running around. He's getting all these UT people. He went to Texas. But I said, you know what? Hold on now. I'm doing my research on everybody. I said, hold on now. We got T for Temple U in the building. We got to shout out Jake
Come on.
Martin. Jake, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you guys so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it. Shout out to all the Temple fans and alumni out there. But there's only one UT that I know.
That's right.
The University of Temple.
That's right. Man. That's right. That's what I like
University. That's Temple University of Temple and Temple Tough. Appreciate y'all, boys.
Yeah, good. That's great stuff, man. That's great stuff. So let's just start here. Obviously, we're out here in Sacramento. We talk a bunch of Niners and Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. You went in the 6th round. Talk about some of the difficulties of waiting. And once you get to those later rounds, just wondering. Then once you get in the league, I mean, a lot of these player podcasts now, they're talking about, yeah, I was better than so-and-so, but he went in the 1st round. So talk about coming in as a later draft pick and how you might have that chip on your shoulder to prove that I should be here.
Hey, man, I think that, well, first of all, I got a completely different viewpoint from, the blue chip boys.
That's true, right.
From college. For me, at Temple, dog, we was, getting out the mud.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No grass on campus type. You know what I mean? And then just getting the opportunity to forge my body and my skill set against guys like Deion Dawkins and with Hassan Reddick, Sharif Finch, PJ Walker, Tyler Matakevich. The list goes on in terms of talent that's come out of Temple over the years. But for me, getting drafted in the 6th round, in my mind, I knew I could play this game.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough that my older brother Josh played in the NFL for a little while, and we were talking about it as I'm going through the process, and he put it to me as, man, this is the same football that you've played your whole life, though.
Yeah.
Everyone's just a little bit bigger, but so are you. Everyone's a little bit faster, but so are you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same. If you change the game or make it bigger than what it is, man, at the end of the day, it's a child game, man.
Right.
It's a child's game.
Yeah.
So regardless of where you get drafted, whether it's drafted or undrafted, you need your foot in the door, dog.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, how, coming from Temple, it's just, it feels like, I'm looking at your career, you've made a couple different stops. Last week we played sound of Nick Bosa after the game talking with Brock Purdy about, man, how do you stay confident? Like, I'm a defensive player of the year, 2nd pick in the draft. Like, even I have confidence issues. how do you stay so positive and just continue to grind when, I mean, you feel like almost everything's working against you?
Man, I think that's part of this game, man.
Yeah.
It's all, in my opinion, it's all an illusion. Like yes, there's you have all these other factors putting pressure on what you're trying to do or trying to accomplish, man. But if you keep your goal simple, or you keep your mindset simple, man, of control what you can control, and just follow that purpose that God has for you, then everything's always going to play out, man. And the confidence comes from the work you put in.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not me. Like, guys may come across certain players in different leagues, whether it be, football or baseball or basketball. Guys work for their ability to be able to talk trash, to be able to talk, to talk the way to talk their talk. You know what I'm saying? So that confidence is just, that work that they put in for it. You know what I mean? And I think everyone's always going to have their doubts in everything, whether that be sport, relationship, religion. Everyone's gonna have their doubts, and it shows up on all aspects of your life. But it's a choice, man. If you think at the end of the day, you choose, you dictate how you really want to feel. Yes, you may have an immediate reaction of disappointment or anger or something like that, but you can, all right, cool, I got this. Let me move forward, take the next step, make the next, like what I tell myself, my life's philosophy. Two things that I always tell myself is never lie to yourself and always make the next best decision. No matter what got you in that situation, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, make the next best one for you.
Yeah.
And you'll never be wrong.
Talking to Jake Martin, Colts linebacker, pride of Temple University. All right, Jake. We're seeing a lot of athletes here, okay? And there are some large humans, okay? What were your first impressions, though, when you saw Anthony Richardson, either just from stature or to just what he does on the field? What were your first impressions when you saw him?
Okay, so I ended up in Indy after training camp. I spent time in training camp in Houston, and another, like all the rookie buzz, coming into camp, you got some serious talent at quarterback. A lot of good quarterbacks taken off the board early in that first day. And then just like, being around, and, I'm an athlete. I like to watch, sports every time, and whether there's sports news or something like that, or Good Morning Football, just seeing his little highlights that they would have. I'm not going to call them little highlights, but the little
nothing little
clips.
about him.
But like the little clips I saw of him spinning it.
Yeah.
Oh, it don't even compare in person.
Yeah.
It's effortless. I'm talking about like effortless out of his hand.
Yeah.
The same thing with CJ.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Same exact thing. Like it's ridiculous, man. Because I played with Russell Wilson. I played with Deshaun. I played with Gardner. Like I play with good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I saw Joe Flacco when I was in New York. You know what I mean? So like, I played with good quarterbacks, man. And those guys, two young cats right there, make it look easy.
How early did you know on them? Because you said you spent camp in Houston.
I first saw CJ, I was like, oh, this dude
really.
Yeah.
Did you thought rookie like potential, like that kind of potential?
Yeah. Like this is OTAs. I'm thinking this. Like my agent called me because like I left Denver to go back to Houston. And my agent called me after like that first week of OTAs. He's like, so what are you thinking? How is, ask me questions about CJ, ask me questions about, when I got to Indy, ask me questions about AR. I was like, yo, dude. And not only are they great athletes, man, but they got their heads on straight, dog. Especially for young dudes to come into this game. You have, social media and media, everyone telling that you're great, family members saying that you're great, but to be a humble human, a humble servant to the guys in the locker room that you're competing with and trying to win for, that gains you win the locker room over that way, man. You approach the game that way.
Yeah.
With a mind to learn rather than to like act like you got it all together, man, because you're a rookie, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I appreciate guys that come in and understand that I don't know everything. This is me starting all over on the totem pole, So commending both of those guys, man.
Yeah.
Two great young guys right there.
You have to do it in high school. You got to start all over. You got to do it in college when you start all over. And if you're good enough to get to the league, you got to start all over as well. Before we get to the pick, man, when you brought up no grass on campus. I played baseball at Temple. We didn't have any grass either. We out to Ambler on a bus. I mean, we grinded, man. So I already know what it is. Before we get you out of here, Jake Martin, Colts linebacker, who you got on Sunday, man?
Man, to be honest, I hate to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't hate to say this, man. The assumption is that the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah.
Right? You know, the NFL's putting out all these stats of, you know, 2 head coaches rematching, the favorites and the previous victors' odds, all that kind of stuff. You know, all the crazy next-gen stuff they pull out. Man, but I would love to see the Niners win, man. You know, shout out to my boy Christian McCaffrey. That's my dog, man. We've known each other for a long time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've known that man since 7th grade.
Damn. Really? How'd that happen?
He's kicked my ass a lot. So
you're like, I need to get to know that name.
Yeah, nah, man. Yeah, I don't think I've ever beat Christian, bro, to be honest. Shit crazy. But, you know, we trained together in the offseason, man. We trained together in high school. And, we did our, draft prep and stuff like that, man.
That's
together. Awesome. You know, I'm just excited for that guy, man, because that dude works his tail off, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He deserves nothing but that, man.
That's awesome.
There you go. Jake Martin, thank you so much. Continued success, man, in your career. You seem like a great dude. And, of course, because we're cut from the same cloth, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your time in Vegas.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, more Stiles and Watkins live from Las Vegas. Thanks to Jiffy Lube, Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. A mix of clouds and sunshine Thursday afternoon, staying mainly clear overnight. After a high near 50 degrees, lows will be in the 30s Friday morning. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
Don't miss out on New Year's savings at Folsom Lake Kia. Low prices and payments on your favorite new Kia models. Go see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 25 years or folsomlakekia.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Government Mule. Live in concert. 30 years strong tour. Friday, February 16th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Government Mule with special guest Lucas Nelson and POTR. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. New album, Peace Like a River, is in stores now. Don't miss Government Mule live.
Tune in to Sactown Sports broadcast of the big game this Sunday afternoon between San Francisco and Kansas City. Sponsored by Xfinity. Stream your favorite live sports on the next generation Xfinity 10G network. Join Sactown Sports at Twin Peaks for big game action on over 40 screens. And your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see pop icons The Jacksons at Thunder Valley on March 30th. Don't miss it.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Big thanks to Jake Martin, T for Temple U. That's just been awesome.
Yeah,
right? It's all been awesome.
That was a one for me, one for you kind of situation.
That's
with
right.
Jay, where he was like, "All right, let me give Allen a Temple."
And we can peel back the curtain a little bit now that we had him on, because a lot of people are behind because there's so many interviews going on.
Behind.
And actually, his people came up to us and said that they were going to cancel.
Yeah.
And I'm not making this up here. Chris heard me.
Yep.
I said, hey, when you talk to him, tell him one of the hosts went to Temple. And he popped up he popped up what?
Almost instantly.
About
Like,
5 minutes
almost
later.
instantly.
Jay was shook. See, Jay think he got all the pull.
Exactly.
I got some pull too.
Alex
I got
he
mini
was
pull.
like,
I got
hey,
mini
hey,
pull.
Pull your sneak up.
he was like, hey,
Jay-
he told him, he said, hey,
I was saying
tell
how
him that he
Jake
went
was
to
a
tell-
no-go.
Yeah.
I got Jake back. I'm
That
not-
boy.
He
I'm
was
gonna
like,
take that one.
he's all he had
I'm
to
gonna
say.
take
Pressure on him.
I had
Let
to.
him know.
TJ Scott over
He's
there.
coming home.
We gotta do it for
TJ.
Philly. We gotta do it for Philly.
Yeah.
TJ Scott, wide receiver for the Bears, man. Nice to meet you, man. 49.
Jay is out here.
I know,
hustling
literally
right now
live, bro.
as we go
This man's
because this
crazy.
is, this is how it's
Yep.
this is how it's got to be done.
Absolutely.
Anything
crazy,
else happen?
dude.
Any buyouts?
I don't think so.
There we go.
Awesome. Coolio, man. Thank you for hopping on.
We
man.
are joined now. That just happened right in
I
front
know,
of my face.
literally.
With the fresh red joints on CT.
No, I like that. Tyler Scott, wide receiver for the Bears. Thank you for joining us,
With
man.
the VIP badge.
No problem.
With the VIP
Yo, I'm
badge.
like-
Of course, man. So just tell us how it's been with the Bears, right? You got the Justin Fields situation is a hot topic. There are a bunch of quarterbacks that we're trying to see what happens next. But for those so out here in Sacramento, Northern California, that's the same draft as Trey Lance. And it's become a very interesting draft. Tell us about Justin Fields and just what you've seen from him and why, if you're a Bears fan, you should believe in him.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe I'm a little biased. I grew up an Ohio State fan. I'm from Akron, Ohio, and so there's one team that you love to play for and you grow up wishing you can play for, and that's Ohio State.
Yeah.
And so, seeing Justin, obviously transfer from Georgia to Ohio State, that was big, back where I'm from. That's huge. And so, I already had some love for him already as a player, seeing how dynamic he was, just seeing the type of style he played, the type of game he had, and, took us to the national championship, took Ohio State to the national championship. And so I just seen the toughness that he had, took some hits versus Clemson. I can remember getting smacked in the rib, but kept on playing, man. And you just seen the toughness that he had through one of the most beautiful deep balls to Chris Olave versus Clemson that same game. So you just kind of seen, what he had. And then, then getting drafted to seeing like, man, you playing with Justin Fields. It was like, man, I get to play with Justin Fields, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, back at home, like everybody was like going crazy because like it's a big deal. And so now meeting the dude, meeting the person behind the, behind the face mask, and he's just such a humble guy, you know what I'm saying? And even through like this whole period of, had media and all these outside noises, he's in the process of, in the middle of during the season trying to lead a team, trying to lead a city, try to be QB1 and, just having to deal with all those pressures from the outside, not knowing, man, this is my last rodeo here and all these different things, man. I think, what really stands out to me was how much of a pro he's been, through this whole situation. You haven't heard him, slander anybody or, put anybody under the bus or just any of that things. He's just always been, even keeled. He's always been humble about how he's approached the game of football, how he's approached life. Been very open about his faith, which is I can tell was definitely his foundation. From for how how he speaks and how he makes his decisions. And so, like I said, he's just a good dude, man. And outside of football, but then you get on the football field, you see how explosive he is. You see the plays he makes. You see the growth he has since he's came into the season. And like I said, he's just a real good dude, good dude. And when I just and the fan support too, what I'm saying, just kind of when he the stardom that he has, just walking around and just everybody chanting Justin Fields' name. They were chanting his name in the our last home game. We want Justin, we want Fields, and just hearing the crowd chant that for him. I felt for him, in a way, and he kind of gave a little kind of goodbye, kind of saying like, man, if this is it, if this is the last time, and I appreciate everything that, you guys done for me, and I gave it all I had. And, for me, it just kind of, tugged on my heartstrings because it's just like, man, the person, the dude, and, just to be in that situation, I couldn't imagine. So, but no, he's a tough dude, a hard worker. Mentally, I think his mental toughness is what really stands out, for sure, just through everything he's been through injuries, always getting hit, from the refs. Like he didn't get one penalty this year for a late hit on the quarterback.
That's really
not one.
Wow.
Not one. And he had been hit multiple times. So, like I said, just a real good dude, moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, you say you're from Ohio. Ohio, I feel like, is one of those places that's really slept on when it comes to the talent that comes out there. Sure. I mean, obviously LeBron is the biggest name, but even the Kelce's went to Ohio. I mean, you went to Cincinnati. They went to Cincinnati as well. Just talk about, I mean, when you think of football recruits, the states that are going to come to mind is the Californias,
Yeah,
the
all
Texas,
the down
the Florida.
souths and,
Absolutely, yes,
West
just
Coast.
down south in
No,
general.
definitely.
Talk about Ohio as an athlete factory.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. You talk about, all the schools that get mentioned. You look at what are the top schools. You'll creep down to number 5, and you're going to see a Midwest school in there, and it's going to be Ohio. You know what I'm saying? We have some of the best football. Cincinnati is a great city when it comes to football. They got Moeller High School. They got, they got Coleraine High School, who has been good back in the day. They got Archbishop Hoban. They had St. Vincent St. Mary, who had Paris Campbell, who was there, and Dante Booker, who played in the league. And they had so many different dudes. And even in Northeast Ohio, you got Bookville High School. You got Barberton. You got there's a plethora of different schools that produce talent. Massillon, they had a lot of guys, pump guys out in the league. And so I mean, when you look at it, Ohio is definitely one of those schools that can compete with teams that are in the South and on the West Coast. And then even, like I said, the colleges. You got Ohio State. You got Cincinnati, who was on top. You know what I'm saying? And you got Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns, who are Northeast Ohio. And then you got the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's definitely a football state. It's a passion about football. And I feel like it might be one of the only states that can really compete down south and the West Coast in terms of just the football and the nature of football and how much it means to them.
Tyler, real quick. I know you're getting asked about 96 football questions every single day, man. Look, I like to come with a little different situation. I see what's on your feet, brother. You know what I mean? And anybody that come in here with some all reds, I got to talk about it. Man, are you a shoe guy? If so, give me your top. It's hard to do this as shoe people, but give me your top shoe if you had to grab one throughout history.
Okay, so I'm honestly not too much of a huge shoe guy.
Okay.
But if I do see a shoe and it speaks to me,
yeah,
I'm gonna definitely go ahead and grab it.
Okay.
But if I had to say my top pair,
what's that go-to?
My go-to?
Yeah, man, you walking down the red carpet and you with Michelle Obama and you gotta go get it. What's the one?
Gosh. I'm gonna probably have to go with the Travis Scott ones.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm gonna probably have to go with them. I love them shoes. I'm an Air Force One type of guy.
Okay.
I got a whole bunch of pair of Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
So I like the classic look. You know what I'm saying? Nelly came out with the song, and you know what I'm saying, that blew up since then. So definitely.
Well, see, so you said the Travis Scotts, but somebody like you just finishing your rookie season. Are you on the sneaker app too? Because I took another L today. Today with the Coleman. Are you on the sneaker app still?
I'm not on the sneaker app.
No, I had it.
I'm trying
to get like you. I'm trying to get like you.
I'm like,
There you go. All right, Tyler
I was gonna
Scott.
say get his prediction.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was going to say. Niners, Chiefs. Who you got this weekend?
Man, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes, man, because I think I'm looking at greatness, and I love greatness. I love watching greatness. I love it seeing unfold in front of us. Even took the.
I know this man's
he's not happy. He's not happy.
So, but I just love greatness, man. I just think what he's doing is great for the sport. We had Brady leave, and just seeing what he's doing.
Yeah.
I just love appreciating that. While it's here, and so I almost kind of root for the greatness.
Yeah.
To transpire. But I'm gonna definitely go with the Chiefs, and they got Travis Kelce, who was a Bearcat too.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. We probably got the three best. We got Sauce Gardner, we got Travis Kelce.
Hey, now
we had Jason Kelce. We probably got at least three of them positions, best guys in the league. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. And if I had to give a score, I'm gonna go 27-24 Chiefs.
There you go,
Close
Tyler
game.
Scott, wide receiver for the Bears. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time.
Definitely,
Continued
definitely.
success in your career. We'll talk to you soon.
Definitely appreciate you guys.
Awesome.
All righty, let's get to a break. Stiles and Watkins live from Vegas. Thanks to Jiffy Lube, Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports is hitting the road on our Jiffy Lube road trip. Join Stiles and Watkins live from Radio Row in Las Vegas Wednesday through Friday from 10 to 2 as they get you ready for the big game.
Plus, we have additional coverage on all our shows from Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross and the Drive Guys.
It's Stiles and Watkins live from Vegas, all part of our Jiffy Lube road trip on Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
At Boot Barn Work, we support those who rise in the early mornings and keep pushing through the long night shifts because there are mouths to feed, homes to build, and a country to fuel. Those who mark their progress by the wear on their tools and the sweat dripping down their face. Every scuff on your boots represents your role in America's unrelenting workforce. Boot Barn Work, those who feed, build, and fuel the nation.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Plantar fasciitis feels like pointed, sharp pain, very intense. It can make your eyes water. It makes you walk funny because you're trying to get pressure off your heel. I had instability. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. And I was driving past the Good Feet store. I mean, why not? Give it a try.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure they fitted me with the right thing. And so they brought out several different arch supports and gave me the opportunity to try them in shoes and walk around with them until they found the perfect ones for my feet. I had no idea that they would be that patient, and I had no idea they would be that kind. And you just knew, like, your feet, just when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. And it really did make a big difference. It made my foot not hurt. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. Plus line dancing, a mechanical bull, and Sacramento's best food trucks. One-day tickets are on sale now, starting at $46, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more info, visit CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by Hubble, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram Center.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Perfect timing.
We are being joined right now by Michael Pittman Jr., Colts wide receiver. Just spoke to your teammate, Jake Martin. Mike, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah.
So, USC alum, right? So, Jake we both went to Temple. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, we had that connection. USC alum being close to Sam Darnold. Can you speak to just how Sam has probably been handling this whole situation? He's bounced around a little bit, and now Brock Purdy is really starting to elevate. And look, we all know the saying, iron sharpens iron. Can you speak to Sam's character and how he's been dealing with just a pretty unique situation?
Yeah. I mean, Sam is one of the coolest, most collect guys. And I feel like him and Brock are probably like the perfect pair because I don't personally know Brock, but just like from what I've seen, like they're pretty similar guys, confident guys. And really, I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen. But if Sam is called on, I think that he's going to be ready to play. And just going back to our like SC days and just like watching him ball out, I mean, just like the things that he can do are like special. And I hope he gets his next opportunity, and I think that will really be his time to shine, and people can really see like what Sam Darnold can actually do.
Yeah, and you played with a good quarterback this year, or a couple actually this year. Anthony Richardson got his first sniff of NFL football this year, and then Gardner Minshew comes in. Much like I assume Sam Darnold's role was supposed to be this year. Hey, if anything goes down, we want to make sure we still have a reliable guy that's not going to, sometimes when backup quarterbacks come in, I mean, there's a big drop-off between starter and backup. Can you just talk about how important it is to have a guy like a Sam Darnold, like a Gardner Minshew, that can, I mean, Anthony Richardson, played a month, and then, your season could have been completely tanked at that point.
Yeah. So walking back through that is he got hurt the Tennessee game, and I just remember thinking, I'm like, wow, like what's going to happen now? And then luckily we had gotten lots of reps in with Gardner, so when he stepped in, it was almost like seamless. And now we kind of switched up the things that we did because you want to play to your to your quarterback strengths, which is something that Shane did like really well. And I felt like there wasn't a drop off, and that's something that you would see, and you have seen like when Sam did come in. I think it was earlier this year when Sam came in for him, and he played well. So I expect that if he's called upon, but again. Hopefully he doesn't need to be, but if he is, then I think he's going to ball out.
Talking to Michael Pittman Jr., Colts wide receiver. So you have free agency coming up, and we know what everybody says. Most of the time, the athletes speak. We get it. Hey, I don't think about it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You are more than able to say that, but if you could just peel back the layers of how you really feel in those moments when you're playing, you know what's on the line, but you want to enjoy your time. But we all think about the future every single day. It's just human nature.
Yeah, I mean, going back to it and really diving into it, I was kind of expecting them to sign me at the beginning of this year, before this whole season, and then we had come to a agreement that we would both wait. And I'm glad that we did, because if I would have signed back then, it probably would have been for less. And now I'm looking at potential options. So understanding they have that franchise tag too. So like it goes like both ways. And I love my time there. And the people there like are great. Just like the fans there, the people that I've met. But also I told myself that I wouldn't sacrifice I wouldn't sacrifice maximizing my career for comfortability. So if I gotta get up and go somewhere else and start fresh, then that's what I'll do. So.
What kind of things are you looking for in a I mean, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a new team, but with the situation that you're going to sign up for, are you looking at quarterback? Are you looking at city? Is it some combination of everything?
I mean, the most important thing to me is fit. So I'm looking for that offense that fits my skill set, because that's really what it's all about. Like the NFL is all about systems and fits. And quarterback is obviously like one of the biggest for my position. And really just like I'm looking for like the offensive, like not theme. I'm trying to think of the word, but like how an offensive coach thinks. Like, does
philosophy?
Yeah. Like, does he like to pass the ball? Does he like to run the ball?
Yeah.
And I'm looking for that pass.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Talking to Michael Pittman Jr., wide receiver for the Colts. Yeah, because, not to name names, but we know Brandon Ayuk is a guy who a lot of people think he might be underrated because he's in a system where he's not featured as much as some other guys might be. That has to go into it. I think you've said it all beautifully. I'm not necessarily going to ask you to rank the wide receivers, but do you also feel like we're in the golden age of wide receivers? I mean, we've talked to a couple now. We were talking about back in the day, it was the Megatrons and the Randy Mosses, and they all kind of fit a certain mold. Now you can be in the slot, you can be on the outside, different sizes, different
Tyreek Hill to Mike Evans.
I mean, it's just right there. Does it feel like, and especially, the bags are looking nice these days. Does it feel like you're in the golden age of wide receivers?
I think, but like I also don't want to discredit like just like the greats that like came first, and like everything that they did. But I would just say generally I feel like it's like I don't want to say easier to find a quality receiver, but I feel like there's a lot of guys out there. And we got guys coming in every single year that start fast and are playing really fast and at a high level, and I just think that it's kind of the way the NFL offense is trending. Like if you look, like Andy Reid really started it, right? And then you got all these young coaches off of him. You got Sean McVay, Shanahan, and like all those younger coaches. You got Shane too, like who's a young coach,
right.
maybe not necessarily like off the tree, but those young offensive-minded coaches, they all want to pass, and that's leading to the utilization of wideouts more, whether you're a slot guy or whether you're like an outside guy.
Yeah. I'm curious, something we heard, especially during the offseason, was bringing it back to Sam Darnold, was he's like a human jugs machine, I think is what they would call him. What, of course, like different routes and different situations will call for the ball in different places, but if you had to say, I like the ball right here, where is that placement?
Mine is like anywhere chin and neck to like top of the eyes. It's like,
because at
like
some
right
point
there.
you got the shoulder pads that kind of restrict your movement.
Well, like it really depends on like situation, because like if there's somebody next to me, like then I want it high.
Yeah.
But
Going
if
across
I'm
the middle,
running across the middle, I probably don't want it.
You don't want it high. You definitely don't want it high.
So it's situational, but like general, like right around here is a word.
Before we get to your pick, talking to Michael Pittman Jr., it could either be a team or it could be a player. Is there somebody in the league as a wide receiver that you maybe just get up a little bit more for when you know, okay, we got him on Sunday or we have this team on Sunday, maybe just somebody in your division?
Yeah, there's so many guys. I mean, Mike Evans, because we played him this year, and it's really nice to see him finally get his flowers, because I feel like people like kind of like forgot about, well, like not like forgot about him, but they don't appreciate the fact that he's doing it every single year, because he does it every single year.
1,000 yards, right?
And he doesn't dance around. He doesn't talk trash. Like, he just does the job and then he goes home, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just great to see him like get his flowers.
You know, it's funny you say that, because that Netflix show came out about Johnny Manziel, and I always felt like this even when Johnny was doing his thing. Who is Johnny Manziel without Mike Evans? I mean, Mike Evans was doing a lot of heavy lifting back then. Talking to Michael Pittman Jr. Before we get you out of here, man, got to get your pick for Sunday. Chiefs, Niners, who you got?
This is such a hard one. I mean, it's you never want to bet against Pat, because you got two great quarterbacks going, and really, I think it's going to come down to Pat and Travis Kelce. But saying that, I think the 49ers are going to win. But it all comes down to Pat and Travis. So if they can just have a enormous game, then like I could see it going the other way. But you look at the 49ers, look at their defense, look at their offense. They are just the most complete team, I think, like in the NFL. And that's not something that I say lightly. Like, just like any time that you're thinking of them, like you're like, wow, like we got to like worry about this guy, that guy, and then like go over to their offense, like, oh, they got him, and him. I mean, tight end, receivers, running back. I mean, like linebackers, corners, their safety. So Talanoa, who is unfortunately hurt, but he was a All-Pro last year. I mean, their defense is so stacked up. I mean, it's just crazy. And then like their D-line, everything that they got, man, crazy stuff.
There you go, Michael Pittman Jr. Thank you so much for taking the time, man, and continued success.
All right, thank you, guys.
All righty, that has been Stiles and Watkins. Thank you for listening. We got one more day,
day 2 day.
live from Vegas, thanks to Jiffy Lube, Sactown Sports.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts